If you like my dad's videos, please subscribe to QA Insights channel.
Welcome to another episode of Learn JMeter series. In this episode, we are going to see about how you can deploy JMeter on AWS using Terraform. Before we start seeing about Terraform, first let us understand about what is infrastructure as code. Infrastructure as code helps you to build, manage, and version control your infrastructure safely and efficiently. Instead of spinning up your resources on cloud on ad hoc basis, you will store all your configuration in the file, basically in the version control management system. Then you spin up the resources based on the configuration you store it in your version control management, so that you can manage your resources efficiently, and also it helps you to collaborate with your team, and you will save a lot of effort and time in going back and forth between your infrastructure. So Terraform is one of the commonly used open source tool to manage your infrastructure. So Terraform comes with three flavors: Terraform CLI, Terraform Cloud, and Terraform Enterprise. Terraform CLI is the open source flavor of Terraform. So Terraform is from HashiCorp. So the mantra of Terraform is Terraform write, plan, and apply. First, you have to define what you are going to do with your infrastructure by writing your configuration in the HCL. It also supports a JSON file. Then you have to plan using Terraform plan command. So Terraform plan command will help you to understand what it will be done in your real world infrastructure, whether you are going to create something new or whether you are going to some resources undergoing any change or it's going to be removed. So those output will be very helpful to understand what it will be done in your network. At last, you have to use Terraform apply command so that whatever the configuration you have written in the .tf file, it will be applied to your real world infrastructure. And also you can use Terraform destroy command to destroy the resources, because sometimes after the job is done, you may want to delete the resources. So you can use the Terraform destroy. But a Terraform destroy command is irreversible. So you have to be very extra caution while using that command. So in this video, we are going to see about Terraform CLI, how you can use Terraform CLI to spin up the resources. And then we are going to see about AWS CLI configuration and also about AWS IAM. Then we are going to set up a key pair to access the EC2 instance. And also we are going to create IAM user for the relevant access. And we are going to make use of AWS CLI to quickly configure the default values like region and access key and secret key. Access key and secret key. So for the JMeter, we are going to leverage the Terraform module. So this module is written by me, which has been published in the registry.terraform.io. So if you go to registry.terraform.io and if you do a quick search for JMeter, you will get the QA Insights /JMeter Terraform module. So this Terraform module will spin up an EC2 instance. By default, it will use T2 small. So T2 small is not under free tier. So if you are using AWS for the practice purpose, so make sure you expect some billing unless you destroy the EC2 instance immediately. So based on number of hours, you will get the billing from the AWS team. So make sure you promptly leverage your billing. And once the EC2 instance got spinned up, it will install Java, JMeter, and the JMeter plugins. So this is what the Terraform module will do. So there are commonly used Terraform commands. So initialize will help you to download the modules, plugins, etc. And then you have to use the plan command to see what is the output. Then apply, which will apply the changes to your infrastructure. Then at last you can use the Terraform destroy command to delete the resources. So now it's time for a quick demo. First, let us set up the AWS stuff. Then we go to Terraform. So this is the AWS console which we are going to spin up the EC2 instance, and also we are going to create the key pair and set up the IAM. And the region I have set is the Ohio, which is the closest region for me. So first we are going to create the IAM role. So if you don't have an AWS account, you can create it for free, and you can leverage the 1 year of free AWS resources. So in the search text box, just type IAM. So this will display the IAM resource. So first we are going to create the IAM role to manage the AWS resources. So IAM is very starting point of any AWS service. So make sure you have the relevant access by creating the IAM role. So just select the IAM services here, and here we are going to create a user so that user will have programmatically access to the AWS services. So we are not going to set up something for any human user. We are going to set up for the machine. So we are just going to leverage the access key and secret so that our command line can interact with the AWS resource on the backend. So this is the IAM dashboard. And here on the left side under access management, click on users. So this is where we are going to create a new user. And this is my list of usernames which I have created in the past. And here at the top right, there is a blue button called add users. So just click on the add users button, which will take you to create the new user. So here you have to enter the valid username. So in this case, I'm going to with test-Terraform. And here the access type, you have to select the access key, which means the programmatic access. So if you check this box password, basically you will be creating the user for the human user. So instead of creating the human user, first let us create for the access key. So we don't need to create something for the human because we are going to configure this in the CLI. So we need to select the access key and click on next permissions. So here you have to set the permissions. So what kind of access that particular user will have. So by default, what people do is they go with the admin privilege, but you have to make use of the zero trust policy. Basically, the least privilege access you have to avoid for any user. But here there are a couple of ways you can set the permissions. One is from the group, or another one is from the permission from the existing user, or you can directly attach the policy. So in this case, I'm going to attach the policy directly using the third option. So just select, and here you can for the demonstration purpose you can attach the admin access, or if you want to make use of the EC2 admin also, you can do it. For the demonstration purpose, I'm going to select the admin access here, and I'm going to click on next tags. So here you can add some tags, some meaningful tags, say environment equals say production, something like this, and click on next review, and then click on create user. So this will create the user called test-Terraform, and which will have the programmatic access. So this will give you the access key and secret. So these two things you need for your AWS CLI configuration. So do not share this with anyone, because this access key has all the admin privilege, so they can misuse your AWS account. So do not share it with anybody. So you have to store this in a secured place like a Terraform vault or something very secret place. And then alternatively, you can also download the CSV format. So now I'm going to click on close because I already created a user called Terraform, which I don't need. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to delete this particular test-Terraform. So next step is to create the key pair so that we can access the EC2 instance from our command line. So for that, let us go to services, and let us go to compute and click on EC2. So this will take you to EC2 dashboard. So there we can create the AWS key pair. So this is my EC2 dashboard for the region Ohio. So right now I'm not running any instances. As you see, nothing is running. The count is 0. And to create the key pair, if you just scroll down in the left side, so here you can click on key pairs under network and security section. Just click on key pairs. So this will take you to the page where you can create the key pair. So key pair is required if you want to SSH into your EC2 instance. So here I already created a bunch of key pairs and I downloaded it to my local. But if you want to create a new key pair, yes, of course you can create it. And this key pair we will be using in our Terraform module to spin up the EC2 instance and to install Java, JMeter and JMeter plugins. So now I'm going to click on create key pair at the top right, and here you can just give a name, say for Terraform, and select the key pair type and select the private key file format. So in this case I'm going with .pem and I'm going to click on create key pair. So again, when you create a new key pair, you have to download and store it in your secured location, otherwise you will not be able to SSH. So it will prompt you to save the PEM file like this, and click on save file and click on OK. And if you want to delete something, you can just select this and you can go to actions and you can delete the key pair which you created. So I'm going to just delete it, because already created. So in this demo we are going to make use of key pair name Terraform, so which I already created here. So next we are going to configure the AWS CLI. So to download AWS CLI, you can just Google AWS CLI download. So this will take you to the page where you can download the AWS CLI program, and then you can just install it based on your operating system. So in this case I am going to use Windows subsystem for Linux. So if you just type AWS and hyphen version. So I already configured my AWS CLI. So this will displays the version of the AWS CLI for WSL. So right now I'm using the version 1.18. The next step is to configure the access key, secret and the region and other details. To configure, just type AWS and space configure. So this will prompt you to enter the access ID and then secret and the region and other details. So right now I have already configured, as you see, access key ID is already configured, and if you keep going by pressing the enter key, it will ask you to the details, default region, output format and other details. So right now everything is set. So now let us spin up the EC2 instance and install JMeter and other dependencies by leveraging the Terraform module. So right now I am in this particular location. So let me cd into my gits folder, and I'm going to create a new directory called, say, JMeter on AWS, and I'm going to cd into this particular newly created directory. So now we are going to leverage the Terraform module. So before that, first let us go to the browser and let us go to the Terraform registry. And here if you search for JMeter modules, you will get my QA Insights JMeter Terraform module. So we are going to leverage those for our demo purpose. So here you can just search for JMeter and hit enter. So right now we are looking for the modules. Let us click on see all. So we will get everything related to JMeter. And if you keep scrolling, you can see my JMeter, vanilla JMeter. And here you can see the instructions. So we have to make use of this particular code in our Terraform file. So I'm going to copy this and let us go to the VS Code. And here I'm going to open the folder which we created. And first step is we have to create the Terraform file. So you can name your Terraform file with any valid name. So let us go with main.tf. So main.tf is our main Terraform file, which will be used to spin up the EC2 instance and to install the JMeter. Okay, now our folder is empty. and let us bring up the terminal and let us launch the WSL. So in the WSL command line, so first we are going to create the TF file. So we are going to name this as main.tf. So let us delete the main.td here. Okay, now we are going to paste the Terraform module which we copied from the Terraform registry. So I'm going to just paste it here, and here if you see the comment, it is telling us to insert the 6 required variables. So to get the 6 required variables, again we need to leverage the examples. So in the input sections, if you go to the in the Terraform module, so here it will display the required inputs. So we have to make sure we are passing these values, otherwise it will not work. So availability zone, AMI, instance type, key name, region, and JMeter plugins. So I'm going to paste all the values here. So these are the values which you are going to pass to the Terraform module. So right now if you see, we are passing availability zone, AMI, instance type, Terraform, the key name, and then the region and the list of plugins which needs to be installed in the EC2 instance. So right now we are not done with any sort of deployment. So we have just created the Terraform file, and we are passing the mandatory arguments which is required to spin up the EC2 instance in the backend. So now we are going to format this particular file because it looks messy. So Terraform has a utility where you can type Terraform space fmt, which will automatically format your file so that you can maintain your Terraform files neatly. So now the first step is to initialize the Terraform. So initialize will download the plugins. So this is the plugin, basically the module, the AWS module for JMeter, and also the plugin means since we are using the AWS in the backend, so that's the plugin. So to initialize, just type Terraform space init. So this will download the relevant modules and the providers, etc., and it will store everything in the .terraform folder. If you see the top left, so it will be created when you send the init command. Okay, now the init command is successful. As you see, Terraform has been successfully initialized. Now let me clear my screen, and before you start applying, it is always best practice to plan. So to plan, just type Terraform space plan, and this will display what your Terraform will be doing in the real infrastructure. So whether it is creating something new, or it is deleting, or something is changing, etc., so that you can see whether your actual Terraform file is valid or not. So this will also displays the relevant outputs based on the module you are using, and some of the parameter will be not known until Terraform applies it. So that's why you are seeing the known after apply. So now next step is we are going to create. So this is where your magic will happen. So here if you type Terraform space apply and hit enter, this will start provisioning. So before it start provisioning, what it will do is it will ask you for an approval. So you have to enter yes in the prompt, then only Terraform will start spinning up the resources. Basically it will start making the changes, otherwise it will not do anything. So right now it is just displaying everything, and it is asking whether do you want to perform these actions. So here if you just type yes and hit enter, it will spin up. But there is another way where you can auto approve. So to auto approve every time, this is not recommended basically, because you are directly applying without any prompt. But yeah, if you are once you are comfortable enough, then you can start using the auto approve. So here I'm going to use Terraform space apply space auto approve. So this will take the approval as granted, and it will start making the changes to the infrastructure. So now it will take 10 to 30 seconds to spin up the EC2 instance. So now let us wait for that, and then let me quickly forward this video so that you can save some time. Okay, now our EC2 instance has been spinned up, and here you can see it took 37 seconds to spin up the EC2 instance. Now let us go back to our AWS console, and let us go to instances here on the left side, and make sure you are in the right region. So I'm in Ohio, and as you see, the name JMeter server has been spun up, and it is running status. And if you just click on this particular row, you will get the details about the instance. So now we are going to SSH into this particular EC2 instance and make sure whether JMeter and dependencies are installed or not. So to that, I'm going to copy the public IP address, and I'm going to my terminal, and I'm going to SSH using SSH-i, and then I'm going to pass my PEM file, and the username is ec2-user at the IP address. So now we have to enter yes here, and then now we have successfully logged in into the EC2 instance. So here if you type ls, you can see there is a folder JMeter 5.4.3. So this is what we have installed from the Terraform, and now we are going to make sure whether the JMeter is properly installed or not. So to validate that, you can just type JMeter and space -v and hit enter. So this will displays the JMeter version. And how can you make sure the dependencies are installed or not? So that's why I have start writing the log file to one of the var /log location. So to see the complete log status when the EC2 instance got installed, so you have to send a sudo for that, and cat var space /log and cloud init -output.log. So if you hit enter, it will display the log file. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tail this last 25 lines where we can see what is the status of the JMeter. So here you can see installing JMeter, JMeter plugins, and if you just keep scrolling, you can see the plugin name. The jar file has been downloaded and configured. So everything is properly logged here. So this is just for our debugging purpose, nothing else. And now this EC2 instance can be used for your JMeter tests. So right now you will have so many doubts. Please let me know in the comments, and definitely I'm going to post how you can deploy the infrastructure for the distributed load testing pretty soon, so that within a few minutes you will have the infrastructure for your load testing purpose. So now the last step is to destroy the resources. So if you keep running, of course you have to pay money to AWS. So now what we can do is let us go back to the VS Code, and let me clear my screen, and here I'm going to type Terraform destroy, and again auto approve. So this command is irreversible. Once it is destroyed, that's it, you cannot bring it back again. So make sure you use this option with very caution. So now I'm going to hit enter, Terraform destroy auto approve. So now this will delete the instances, and it will display the relevant output. So since it's destroying, now let us quickly go through this particular key value pair. So this is the key value pair you have to send to the Terraform module, otherwise it will not work. So first you have to mention which availability zone you want to spin up, and which AMI type you want to deploy, and the instance type, and the key name, which key name you want to use, and then the region, which region you want to spin, and which plugins you want to install. If you want to install multiple, you can just put comma here and keep adding the list of JMeter plugins. So now at the bottom you can see it is still destroying. Now if you go back to the EC2 instance and hit refresh here, So this will be in terminated status. So let us wait for a couple more moments. Yeah, now you can see the instance state is shutting down. So after a few moments, this will be completely destroyed. It will not be available. So the data also will go unless you have the EBS attached permanent storage to EC2 instance. So everything will go. So this is just getting started. A lot of things can be done. A lot of things can be customized. There are 30 plus inputs can be customized, but we are using most of the things as a default value. Whichever things we want to send it, I have configured it. But of course, if you want have something to be configured, please let me know. I can have it in our Terraform module. So that's it guys from my side. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Have a good day.
If you like my dad's videos, please subscribe to QA Insights channel.